Last Survivors focuses on a father and son who have been living off-grid for 20 years and encounter an outsider, played by Alicia Silverstone, who threatens to destroy the utopia they've built. This thriller is directed by Milraya and it hit VOD last weekend after a brief festival run in late 2021. It's a somewhat minimalist, isolated film with a limited cast, focusing on the tensions that arrive once our lead Jake, played by Acker, comes across Alicia Silverstone's Henrietta, whom his dad, played by Stephen Moyer, is largely unaware of. There's a lot of tension among these characters. Jake has never really had much contact with anyone who isn't his dad for years, and he finds himself in a somewhat fish-out-of-water setup, as he's not only sure whether he can trust Henrietta, but he's also unsure of how to act himself, as he generally fears anyone who he views as an outsider. Though at the same time, he's still curious about the world he's been largely cut off from. It's a beautifully shot, competently directed film that sets the tone of this almost post-apocalyptic world nicely, and does a fine job of inviting us in. The cinematography is on point, and some of the shot compositions weren't bad. And the performances by both Stephen Moyer and Alicia Silverstone are pretty solid here. Moyer gets a bit less to do as his protective, hardened widower, as he'll go through several stretches without being seen for a bit, but he was good when we do get to see him, especially once things come to a head as the stakes increase. And Silverstone is a welcome sight in a subdued performance as this cautious but inquisitive stranger that's certainly made for one of the film's bright spots. The main problem, however, comes down to the performance by Acker, who, to be quite honest, is not all that good here. He gets the point of the character across, which is that he's defensive and untrusting, but also doesn't back down from others whom he fears. However, he clearly comes across like he's trying way too hard, and often comes off like he's overacting, lacking any nuance that would have added nicely to his inner conflict and emotional depth. He spends much of his time with Silverstone in particular, who he tries to warm up to, but there's essentially no chemistry between the two of them, with him often playing things at an 11, and not in a way that I describe as fun. But of all three main characters, he's the one we spend the most time with, so it becomes grating very quickly. And we only get so many moments that serve as a distraction from that, as he's in nearly every scene, save for a few centered on Silverstone. And what doesn't help either is the fact that the moments where he's required to be emotional are filled with some hokey dialogue and a cheesy melodramatic score, laying it on too thick. Plus, while I wouldn't say you can call exactly where this movie's headed right from the start, and it doesn't necessarily spell things out for us every step of the way, it doesn't take too long to piece together what's in store, leading to a twist that doesn't pack quite that much of a punch as it could have, feeling almost anticlimactic in a way. And while it's marketed as a sci-fi thriller, the sci-fi elements wind up being very minimal. So it makes Last Survivors a disappointing experience. I'd call it a valiant effort, as it does have a nice sense of style and two solid performances from Stephen Moyer and Alicia Silverstone. However, the clunky lead performance by Acker brings the movie down considerably, along with a predictable twist and cloying over sentimentality during moments when it needed to be emotional. It has an interesting enough premise, but the execution is unfortunately a bit too sloppy. Last Survivors gets a 4 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Last Survivors, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find this thrilling? Is it one of your new favorite Alicia Silverstone movies? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.